Yarhar, Fiddle DD, being a pirate is alright with me. I don't know the rest of it. What's up? What's up, everyone? Given just a random stream. Just a random stream. I'm doing this until I get a Twitter notification that Voices Extremis has gone live because he's doing some kind of event. He just got his new uh, VTuber model rig set up. So I'm kind of just killing some time until that happens. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I figured I'd also stream a little bit today, being that it's the weekend, and I had kind of have to stream now because I'm gonna be busy for the basically the whole evening. I got another local show I'm going to where I'm gonna be selling my comics, and hopefully, in fact, let me check my email real quick. Hopefully, my package arrives. Hopefully, it arrives. Yeah. Shipped out to you today. Okay. Is there any way I can track it? Yeah, okay, there it is. Monday? You. Ah! I specifically told them. Like, I need this shipped before Saturday. And they were like, yeah, we can do it. Every single time, I've, every single time I've gone to Kablam, and don't get me wrong, they print the comics good, they look good, it works, they do their job on that part, but they always deliver late, and it's probably not even their fault. It's probably like just the delivery system. But man, it's so annoying. I was telling people that I'm gonna have Volume 4 for this show, and then lo and behold, no Volume 4. It's actually in a town that I could drive an hour to and pick it up. I'm genuinely like to the point where I may call the distribution center if I can do that. I may call it. Let me do this. USPS. Is there a way I can call it? I can call it. It's closed. Of course it's closed because it's Saturday. Oh my gosh, man. Come on. You mean to tell me I like it's an hour away. I could literally drive. I could drive to the distribution center, break in, take my box, and then leave. Like I could literally do that. I could literally do that right now. But no. Instead, it has to do this. Why does it have to go to this town anyway? Why? Yeah, wait a second. Cuz okay. Kablam. Where is Kablam located? Where are they located? This is not doxing. This is public information. They are in they are in Orlando, Florida. So to the city, which I will not name, I'm trying not to dox myself. To get to the city that they delivered to, I'm trying to find where I'm at on this map. Okay. All right, all right, all right. I can see why it's more convenient to go to that city instead of mine. All right, fine. You win. Still mad about it. Come on, man. Literally an hour away. I could drive over there. An hour away, I could drive over there and get it, man. Oh, that is so frustrating. That is it is so frustrating, man. It's right there. It's right there. And it's delivered. It was delivered today. So there's got to be people there. There's got to be people there. But I can't call because they're closed. So if I were to try and call them, I would get no answer probably. And then if I were to drive up there, if I were to drive up to the delivery place, the distribution center, if I were to drive up to there and be like, "Hey, I've got a package. Can I go ahead and just retrieve it here so that I could get my stuff on the day I needed it and that I was told that it would arrive on this day?" They would say, "No, sorry, you can't have this." Even though it's your package, and even though you, uh, even though it's your package, and you yourself can confirm your identity as the purchaser, you probably cannot get this. That's probably what they'll tell me. That's probably what they'll tell me, which is stupid. Ah, that's so annoying. Anyway, before I start Sea of Thieves, I want to do some comic stuff. Um, I'll show you some art. I'll show you some never before seen art. Boom! Wait, that's not there. Full screen? Yeah, there we go. Boom! First pages for volume 5 are already done. Already underway, volume 5 is. This is the first page here. Water effects. I asked Twitter for some advice. I did not ask Grok because I don't care what the AI says. The freaking clankers. I don't want their opinions do not matter to me. They are less valuable than ants. Than a summer ant. Reference. But yeah, I was asking for advice on how to make the water look better, and I get a response, and I'm like, oh cool, okay, this is a very detailed response. And I was like, I'm kind of already doing all the things that the guy is saying in the thing, and then I realized that the account had a gold check mark, which means it's like a business account. And I looked at it, and it's a freaking AI bot, bro. It's a freaking clanker commenting on my art. Commenting on my request for advice from other human artists. And I got a freaking clanker, man. Dystopian society. Anyway, this is, V is falling. There's the water. V is falling. And then sploosh. Into the water she goes. I may change this later on. I may not. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to because water is hard to draw. I feel like in my style, especially because my style is so cartoony, so simplified. It's kind of hard to make stuff make water splashing look good. But I feel like this is a good start. I feel like this is a good kind of template to base it off of, and then eventually draw other stuff, other splashes and stuff like that. I just used the same one here and just altered it, but I may change some of this stuff, but right now this is what I'm working with. And then boom, she's on a table or something, sweating. Now later on, this is not in order anymore. This is not in page order, but these two are. First page, second page. When you open the book, these are the two pages that are going to be greeting you. And then later on, you get this page. This is Lady Lake. And I wanted to make sure that people could tell that very clearly by having her normal appearance be in the reflection of the water, which I thought is a pretty cool thing. You have her like kind of looking down here, kind of looking down at this angle at her hand, and then looking at her reflection here. What my main inspiration for this is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I really love that anime. I've said it before, I don't really watch anime nowadays, but there's a lot of just tropey anime that I'm not really a fan of. There's a lot of tropes in anime that I get tired and bored of. But the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the best, hands down, anime I've ever watched. It's got phenomenal writing, phenomenal characters, phenomenal plot, phenomenal animation. And I know some people get contentious about whether Brotherhood or the original is better, but I started watching the original. I couldn't finish it because I was like, this is just worse than Brotherhood. Now, to be fair, I watched Brotherhood first, so that's, that I'm biased, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, so my inspiration from this is whenever I guess spoilers, mild spoilers, whenever Edward Elric goes to like the god realm. I don't even know what it's called, the other world, where it's just like a white void, and he's talking to like I guess what the show interprets as God, which is it's basically like a featureless white figure. It could be a black figure, actually. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, he has no eyes, no mouth, just a smile, just a big smile. And for Edward, who's missing his arm and leg because he sacrificed them for alchemy, excuse me. The god figure has Edward's arm and leg, and so whenever he sees his brother, who is just a soul in a suit of armor, whenever he sees his brother, the god figure just basically looks like Alphonse. He just looks like Alphonse, but his hair is super long, he's super skinny and malnourished and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I wanted to do this, because Lady Lake is essentially a spirit controlling water. And the tiara on her head helps her control it much better than she normally could. Without that crown, she's almost useless. Whenever she's using her ability, her empathic ability to enter someone's mind, she sees herself as she should be. And at this point, she's been Lady Lake for 20 years now, 20 or so years. I think it's actually more. Yeah, it is more. So she's been Lady Lake for a long time. So, she's got long gray hair. She's very skinny, very bony. And I'm not sure exactly if this is the final look for this page, because again, my stuff, I try and make it fairly family friendly. No swearing, no extreme blood or violence or whatever. There might be like a little blood leaking out of a character's mouth, but nothing serious. I kind of look at it similar to Batman the Animated Series levels of what you can get away with in like a cartoon. So I try to use that as like a guide. And this might be pushing the envelope a little bit, because she is just straight up naked. But her hair is covering everything, so I may make her hair cover a little more. There's a balance, because I want to show that she's extremely skinny and bony, where you can see her rib cage. I want to show that, but at the same time, I don't want parents who buy this comic physically, whenever it comes out, I don't want them to be like, hey, that woman is straight up naked. What's wrong with you? So what I may end up doing is, it may be like this for the online release, and I may have like a more censored version for the physical print release. I may do that. I may do something like that, just because I don't want to. I am selling comics mostly to kids at these local events I go to, so I don't want to, I don't want to get the parents angry or anything like that. I don't want to lose the the customer base by doing something like this. But anyway, so there's this page, and there's next page. This one I definitely won't have to change because she's completely just covered in hair. She looks like was it Cousin It from the Addams Family? Yeah. So, she's walking on the water, which is ironic because normally she is water. So a little irony there. But she's walking on it, and then you see V's arm splash out of the water again. She sees this and starts rushing over. The focus shifts where you don't really. She's blurry, and then the next frame, it's the same frame, but the same picture, but now V's arm and the water is out of focus, and she's focused. So there's stuff like that I'm still trying to do kind of creative cinematography, if you will, and do cool things like that. I think the water looks pretty good. The only thing I'm not 100% sold on is the way I do the waves, the kind of soft edged paintbrush that I'm using. It's just I'm not entirely sold on it. I think it looks fine. Like if I print this, I'm like, okay, it looks good, but I feel like there's potentially something else that could be done that could look better, in my opinion. I think there's some better potential to do other things. So that's just me. That's just what I'm thinking going into this. So this is what I've got so far for Volume 5. I literally just started on it a couple days ago. But I'm really happy with it so far. I'm really happy with the direction. It's very different. It's very it's very I guess visually emotional, I think. There's what is it? There's allegory here or something like that. But yeah, I also want to talk about, before I start getting, see if these pulled up, I will go ahead and start pulling up the app. The post here, I'm starting to just get a little confused about Eric July here, because he's limiting the comments. Is he just another pussy now who can't take criticism? Is that what he's doing? Is he really reaching this level? For real? Talking about, do I get writer's block? No. And it's not because I'm gifted. It's about how I approach the creative process. Look, everyone gets writer's block. This is, like, it's literally impossible to not have, like, writer's block or art block. Eventually, you just get tired of doing something, and you want to do something else. Totally normal. Let me go back to the big screen mode. Totally normal for this to happen. You should not feel bad if this happens, because it happens to every artist and writer. For me, I'm in a situation where if I ever get writer's block, I start doing art more. If I start getting art block, I start writing more. And right now, I would say I'm in like a mild writing block. Like, I'm not writing new stories right now. I'm just kind of like editing the stories to make them better. But the thing to keep in mind, let me turn up my volume real quick. I've noticed I'm a little quiet today. I don't know why my mic is being quiet today. But the thing to keep in mind is that I'm both an artist and a writer. For someone who is just an artist, it's perfectly normal for you to have writer's block or artist block. It's totally normal. Just do something else for a little bit. Eventually, you'll get back in the swing of things. You'll get back to the drive of doing it. And for me, the fastest way for me to get inspiration to get back into drawing is to watch something that inspires me to get back on the saddle and start doing some more art. For me, that's like watching a lot of the cartoons I grew up watching, going back and rewatching the stuff and seeing how good it is, how much it's held up and everything like that, and not only enjoying myself watching it, but learning from the experience, learning from the creative decisions that I can see now because I'm in a position of creativity that I wasn't whenever I was a kid watching this. So that's just that's my advice. If you want to get over art block, is to watch something that inspires you to write or to draw. But yeah, like And the thing is, I think Eric July could benefit from writer's block. And let me put it this way: the ISOM series, I have praised things about the ISOM series. I liked that initially he did not explain what ISOM's powers were. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was different, and I was willing to give it a shot. And then ISOM 3 came around and it explained it, but it didn't explain it enough to the point where I'm more frustrated than curious. My curiosity has grown to frustration at this point. And look, there's a character arc that ISOM goes on. I think a lot of people say, like, okay, what does ISOM want? What's his goals? I think his goals initially were pride based. I think it was just pride. And what he learned through ISOM 1, 2, and 3 is that doesn't work. That will not work for him. It doesn't work for his family. He needs to do things differently. He needs to move differently. And I think it works for that comic. I think it works for that series. That character arc, I think it works for ISOM. It could have been better, obviously, yes. But for the most part, the ISOM comics are a unfocused mess. I've talked about it. They are an unfocused mess. When it comes to the story, there's too much stuff happening that isn't connected at all, and it's just too much. So I think Eric could benefit from writer's block, because the fact that he's saying this leads me to believe that he just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and like never even really considered if the stuff he was writing made sense or fit within the story. Whenever you get writer's block, it gives you a time away from what you've written, so you can come back to it like weeks later and then say like, oh, I didn't even notice this whenever I was writing it. I thought it was perfectly fine, but I'm starting to see the cracks in my story now that I haven't thought about it that much in a couple of weeks. That is very valuable. It's a step away from your project and come back to it much later, right? That's stuff that I like to do, is go back and look at stuff. Admittedly, I'm a little scared to go back and look at Demonico, because I have a feeling the flaws are going to show itself quite a bit to me whenever I go back and read Demonico. I'm a little scared to do it, but still proud of the project, but I'm a little scared. But yeah, and this guy kind of like summed it up. You don't get writer's block because you're nothing near the creative force of nature you pretend to be. The derivative crap you're shilling flows so easily because it's only puddle deep, you arrogant jackass. All right, he went a little too hard, but I think he's got the right idea. Is that like the stuff Eric is writing is not complex. It's not anything crazy, and it doesn't need to be the most complex thing ever. But there's nothing really there. There's nothing that makes me excited to read the next ISOM or to read the next freaking Yaira. Though I guess Yaira is not entirely his fault. It's Sasuke's fault. But you get the idea. Like there's nothing really making me want to get back into the Riververse. I thought the Horseman one-off comic is Chuck Dixon, and I thought it was good. But it was so good that I kind of didn't want to see any more Horsemen. It kind of ended in a good spot for me, where I felt like this one-off character was good where he left off. So I'm not really interested to see what happens with him next. And then Alpha Core, I would love to see more Alpha Core, but we're not getting it. There's no Alpha Core 2 on the horizon. I'm like, where is this? Where, like, I want more Alpha Core, and I definitely don't care about Yaira. I did care about Bloodruth. Until I saw that the Sasukas were writing it, and then I immediately lost all interest. So like, that's at the end of the day, that's my biggest issue with it. And the other thing I wanted to say with the Riververse as a whole, but the other thing I wanted to show was this: $100,000 is not great for the Riververse. It's good for like independent, like teams of 1 or 3 people. That's an excellent number. That's amazing. But for a company, for a company that's paying a professional artist a lot of money, paying writers a lot of money, and paying all their employees at the warehouse, the stock and everything, that's not great. that's not. I don't think that's good enough. I think you need to do a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know what he's talking about here about the self-made businessman or whatever. I don't really know what all this is, but yeah. See, like, I think the puppet show stuff is too much. Like, you're putting too much energy into hating on something, in my opinion. That's my biggest criticism for, like, people who like nitpick the Rippaverse. I think people nitpick it too much. I think people nitpick it, and I also think people put way too much energy into doing the nitpicking. I think if you spent more time actually making something of your own, I think the space would be better. I think the creative, the comic space would be a much better place. Anyway. It's time to start Sea of Thieves. I love this game, man. I'm going to be so sad whenever it shuts down. And if it doesn't improve, it's probably going to shut down within the next 2 years. It's really sad to say, but I mean, they're just doing such a bad job with the recent updates. It's just there's nothing to this update really. There's nothing really to it. It's you just made a new, not even new. It's not even a new quest or anything. It's the same thing. You're delivering stuff from one place to other. It's merchant. It's Merchant Alliance, which people say is the most boring part of the game, and they made it again. I really just don't get it. I really don't get it. Now, you make good money, you make good gold with it, and I will deliver the stuff. But another problem arises with this new system is that only the smugglers will take smuggler loot. For some reason, the Reapers are like, nah, I'm not gonna take your smuggler loot. Get that out of here. I don't want your explosive barrels that we could use to harm people on the Sea of Thieves. Get that mess out of here. You know, it doesn't really make sense. Which is really funny from a lore standpoint. But yeah, I mean, it's just not great, man. It's just not great. Let me pause this. Twitter was trying to autoplay a video, and I was like, no! Yep. Excuse me. Should I just take a screenshot of water from this game and put it... This is a... No. Okay. Weird texture. Should I just take a screenshot of the water from this game and just copy and paste it onto my comic? That's a joke, by the way. It would look way too real. It would look way too realistic. Like, it looks good. The water in this game looks amazing, but it would look way too realistic for my cartoony art style. It just wouldn't work. I made some posts talking about a recent indie comics drama where this guy was talking about how it's very important to put a lot of time and quality into your art, and then his art looked terrible. Look, I hate to dunk on the guy because he's already getting dunked on by pretty much everyone. But I mean, it's just, look, this is why I don't criticize artwork that much. This is why I don't I don't try and nitpick stuff. I think it's a waste of time to hyper analyze stuff that much, with the intent of just being negative. I think it's fine if you hyper analyze stuff to point out like why it's good. I think that's that's the kind of stuff that I learn from on YouTube every day. Like I'm watching like writing guides and stuff like that from examples of like movies and comics and even video game writing and stuff like that. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to learn from hyper analyzing things, but with the intent of just being negative, like it's not really my thing. Like I have watched, to be fair, I have watched like a 2-hour video hyper analyzing why Steven Universe is like the worst cartoon ever made, and I agree. But for like indie creators, like for people who don't have like the big budgets to make stuff, because those people don't have excuses. The people with all the money in the world have no excuse to not make some absolutely banger stories through animation, through comics, through video games. Like people with the highest budgets known to man have no excuse not to make a good product, unless corporate interference. That's the only that's the only thing I look at where I'm like, okay, that's a good excuse. Whenever the people who don't know anything about the creative process are telling you to do things differently in the creative process, yes, I 100% sympathize with you there. But yeah, it's just indie creators. I don't like to essentially bully people. I don't want to do that. But this guy was running his mouth about some people in the Comicsgate scene. Take a guess who, and talking about how it takes a lot of time and quality and effort to make some good quality art, and that's the most important thing in comics. And then people got a little mad at him for dissing some people, and they started looking at his art. And I mean, you don't have to hyper analyze his art to realize it's not that great, but he can always improve. And this is a point in time where this dude can learn. This is a point in time where this artist can listen to some of the people being genuinely critiquing, not just the people just dunking on it, but the people who are genuinely critiquing. You listen to those people and make your art better. I don't wish any ill will on that guy. I don't want him to quit making comics just because his art is currently not that great. I want him to improve. I want, what a great story it would be if like 2 years from now his art is really good and he's one of the best-selling indie comics in the scene. That would be an amazing story. I would not have anything against that. I would not have any problem with him. But it just goes to show, like, when you open up, when you be critical of someone else, when you be like super critical of someone else, you open the floodgates for people to be critical to you. And especially if you punch up to like someone who's more popular than you, you're gonna get the entire fan base sicked on you, whether or not the creator wants them to do it. It's going to happen. That's there's a certain level of creator responsibility that, like, there's some things you probably shouldn't say because the fan base might take it the wrong way, might get the wrong idea. But there's also like a level of inability to do anything that creators have over their audience. Wow, I didn't even realize he was there. Die. Oh yeah, let me turn up the game volume a little bit. There we go. But yeah, like that's why I try not to I try not to complain about art too much unless I feel it takes me out of the story in some way. I actually recorded the last review of Blue Shift. I actually recorded it twice because I felt like the first time I was being way too critical, way too harsh, and way too harsh. And I decided to dial it back and give more criticism that I felt was educational rather than be funny about it. Because in my, like, you know, in my shoes, I'm like, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. I would rather someone give me a chance, you know, give me the benefit of a doubt. Because I know some people could look at my art and be like, okay, I'm not really a fan of this art. There's not much detail in it. It's not what I'm looking for in a comic. And that's fine. Everyone has, like, their things that they look for in a comic to entertain them. Totally fine if you look at my art and be like, okay, I'm not a big fan of this. But there's a lot of people that love the art styles of the 2000s, who really like it, and they see it in my comic. Like, I don't even have to tell them what cartoons I am inspired by. They will usually just tell me in, like, the comments. They'll say, like, of posts and stuff like that. They'll be like, hey, this makes me think of Teen Titans, or hey, this makes me think of Genndy Tartakovsky, and stuff like that. That, like, to me, is a sign that I'm doing things right, that I'm doing things that people are resonating with, that people want to see more of. This is just an ammo pouch. No, dang it. Well, but yeah, that to me tells me, like, you know, I'm doing something right, and that I should keep going. I should keep, you know, I should keep improving, keep trying to make my art style as recognizable and consistent as possible. But yeah. So moral of the story, don't poke the bear if you don't want the bear to poke you back. Is what I'm saying. the white bearded, hat wearing bear. Don't poke that bear. I had a funny moment yesterday. I was playing this game, and I launched myself onto an island to collect some more materials, like cannonballs and food and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I look behind me, and I see another boat behind my boat, and I'm like, what the heck? How long were they following me? I was completely oblivious to another sloop following me. And eventually, like, I just sat on the island. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to fight them, because I know there's probably 2 people on that boat, and I'm not going to win against 2 or more people. I'm only going to win in the scenario where it's 1v1 potentially. And even then, I might lose. But it's like, I just watched it. They set my boat on fire and then left. They didn't even, like, finish sinking me. They're like the bad guy whenever they're like, surely the good guy will not escape the giant cave that cannot be climbed out of. Surely I can just throw Bruce Wayne into this inescapable prison of which he will never return to Gotham months later. Never. Surely this will never happen. And then, of course, Batman climbs out of the pit and returns to Gotham to do the rest of the movie. But you know, that kind of super villain level activity where they're arrogant enough to say, like, oh, I don't need to verify that there's a dead body of the hero down there. Of course they're dead. That to me is just really funny. That's a trope that is never ending, it seems. But that's what happened to me in Sea of Thieves. That's what happened to me yesterday. Ooh, a smuggler bottle. Crooked Mast? I feel like I'm closer to Old Faithful, but okay. I'll go to Crooked Mast. But yeah, anyway, they left my ship on fire. So I took the mermaid back onto the boat, and sure enough, they were not there. They were not waiting for me to come back. They were gone. Like, they didn't leave a guy to greet me as soon as I came back or anything. They just set my boat on fire and left. They committed a vandalism. And that was it. That was it. They did. I did notice that they sailed around the island I was nearby, twice. It's like they were looking for me, I guess. But they didn't even. I took my rowboat off the boat because the boat was a lost cause at that point. I took it off. I took the rowboat off, and just started rowing my boat away. And they kind of circled the island like they were looking for me. But they never found me because I'm smooth with it. My favorite thing to do. A little pro tip, I guess. I don't know how pro it is, but a little pro tip regardless. If you get 2 storage crates, keep your bananas separate from the rest of your food. Oh, come on. That hit. This game, man, it's stingy sometimes with the hit registration. But yeah, keep your bananas separate from the rest of your fruit, so that whenever you get a fruit crate, you can just fill up all the bananas in there much faster. The storage crate storage of like the items and stuff, probably the best quality of life update this game has ever received. I'm not even joking. It is without a doubt the best quality of life change. Simply for the fact that I'm not spending most of my time there we go. Trying to account for the boat turning. There we go. But yeah, I gotta go to Crooked Mass through the fog. Fortunately, I do not have the wind. But I know it's south. It's through this this weird 4 sharp rock formation. Oh, but to go back to the art block thing, another thing that really helps with my art block is the fact that I have like 2 things going on at any time. Like I'm either drawing art for the comic or I'm drawing the OC art for DeviantArt. Like I always have 2 things that if I ever get bored or if I ever get burned out drawing for the comic, I can just start drawing the OC stuff more. And vice versa. We get an early start today because it's time for the 36-hour Mentor Roulette charity stream. What in the world? 36 hours? So yeah, so David's stream has begun. So I think I'm going to start watching that now, which means this stream is going to end, unfortunately. But check out Voices Extremis on Twitch. He is streaming probably Final Fantasy, if I had to guess, for some kind of a charity event. So go support that. Check him out. He's been a long-time friend. So give his stuff a watch. I would appreciate it. He would appreciate it. And stay tuned for more comic updates. I will not be selling Volume 4 today, unfortunately, because the U.S. mail system is incompetent. But it's all right. I'll get them next time. Dang it. Anyway, have a good one. Peace out.